beep 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 beep. Beep 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 beep. Hello, mental pause. Join the show. Get a drink. Get a burger. Alright.
To the owner of Kiwi Farms.
Alright, children, you need to settle yourselves in. Make yourselves known. Hello, Neo J. The breathing and the hacking and the wheezing and the coughing is because despite having gotten my medicine and despite having my inhaler, shit is still rough, yo. Speaking of my inhaler, where the fuck is it? Got it. Negroes and negrettes with berets and barrettes with naps in your hair. Sit your posteriors and derrieres in a chair. As tonight, we'll be witnessing the reasons why, when it comes to content creation and people who are in the know, and especially talking out the side of the neck, you should always bet on commentary and never bet on BPD and green Kiwis, especially ones with delusions of grandeur trying to escape from the sector. As you have known, as I had told you all, TurkeyTom has been facing allegations starting at the beginning of last year in December, continuing all the way through with a cone of silence from Tom himself till today, technically yesterday, where he finally put out a video detailing his side of the margin. Many people questioned and asked whether or not the information was true, as all of the details literally were just on Kiwi farms. Directly on the farms, directly handed to Noel, so that Joshua Moon could be able to yuck the yums about it. The accusation stood that multiple women, but particularly two particular exes of TurkeyTom's, came forward to claim he's a gooner ditty ass nigga. Abusive, antagonistic, voyeuristic, to degrees comparable to sex Epstein. However, as was revealed the other night from the opinions ventured and discussed by that of TurkeyTom once he spoke to individuals such as mutuals like Nicholas Diorio, it was purported to be the case that the reason why he had been speaking the way that he had been talking was because he did not feel comfortable talking to anyone, specifically because there were key individuals claiming that he was not talking to anyone, and therefore anything being said was demonstrable of proof of allegations rather than the alternative, which is that he was supposedly a coward and allegedly had nothing to say and was 100% guilty, despite the fact that was not the case. The basic reality of the problem, if you really think about and or discuss what it is that's really being thought of here, is that essentially TurkeyTom likes having sex with crazy women, but did not ever force these women, did not ever antagonize these women, did not ever pressure these women, did not ever coerce these women, did not blackmail these women, did not attempt to pull a Mr. Girl on these women, didn't pull a Destiny on these women, didn't pull a Vosh on these women. Because, surprise, surprise, sometimes some public figures like keeping their private life private. In conclusion, the people who were accusing him of supposedly talking to nobody was Tommy C. and Chud Logic. Therefore, in the background, multiple times over, Tom was specifically talking to people like Nick and probably even Stardust. But he was not talking to those two specifically because of the fact that they said he was talking to nobody. And the reason why he had done that was so that he could appropriately detach himself from the accusations, so he could deliver just the facts, only the facts, and as much exposure as necessary, as Nick will be releasing the last recorded piece of content that they had made beforehand because of the fact that he chose to wait until this moment. So, there are some big winners and big losers because people rushed to try and cover the content before he gave a reply. For those people, that's their consequence. Being embarrassed. It's very, very, very adorable, very, very cute. But, you know, when you deal with shit like this, it's actually surprising when you really think about it in the grand scheme of the conversation. It's very hilarious how such figures that should have been disgraced for what they had done recently, such as Papa Gut, actually covered the situation and are supposedly getting back to the normal state of content. Demonstrating two things. One, the people that tried to cover it and say that he was guilty have egg in their face. And two, don't let BPD women go onto online internet forums populated by the ne'er-do-wells that have long since become the most corruptible and easily tangible people, and give them a platform upon which to make them famous, so they can say, I'm posting anonymously for the purpose of holding him accountable, despite the fact that they then went to admit, yes, I played shit up because I was angry and hurt and I wanted to hurt him. With all that said, should you like the content and want to support the content, algorithmically promotable things, tell your friends, tell your dad, tell your mom. Let's kick it.
I'm sorry that this response took so long. I wanted to make sure I had all the facts together before saying anything. Recently, I've been accused by an ex-girlfriend, along with an ex-partner, of non-consensually filming sexual encounters, being so rough and inconsiderate during sexual encounters that bordered on assault, encouraging eating disorders, being into age play, along with a litany of other completely baseless, false accusations. The two women who are accusing me, Sacramento 89, real name Rowan, and Leopard Dead, real name Katie, took to gossip forum Kiwi Farms to post the accusations, along with carefully cherry-picked screenshots to back up their claims. These claims aren't super difficult to debunk just because of the overwhelming amount of evidence I have on my side. So without further ado, let's start with Sacramento or Rowan. This is a girl I dated for about 7 months, from May of 2025 until January 10th of 2026. 4 days.
Notice how he's even choosing to cut out the appearance of the people's faces. Classy. Me, I'd be an asshole about it. I don't believe in neutral anonymity. If you come at me and try to expose information about my life, I'm blasting your shit on the content. Doesn't mean I'm going to dox you, but it does mean that I'm going to show people what you look like, so they can understand who's accusing me. And my camera just died.
Days later, she made her first post. Here, she alleges that I am a real freak and like to, quote, record sexual encounters without asking for consent. This is blatantly untrue. I have never recorded any sexual encounter without explicit consent. As a matter of fact, with Rowan, she was the one who initiated the idea of filming sex acts in the first place. On Tuesday, August 19th, after
A reverse Diddy. Ah! Many such cases, apparently, with BPD girls. No, actually, he didn't commit the destiny. She was the one holding the camera. Very Mia Khalifa.
3 months of knowing each other and being sexually active, Rowan texted me saying, you should get those meta glasses when you crack me. I responded by saying, for what? And she answers again, cracking time, alluding to me filming her with the glasses on board.
I'm sorry, let's hear that again. Before she fucking kills me.
Those meta glasses when you crack me. I responded by saying, first place. On Tuesday, August 19th, after 3 months of knowing each other and being sexually active, Rowan texted me saying, you should get those meta glasses when you crack me.
You know, maybe the Japanese had it right? Maybe the peak of life is indeed being able to record yourself clapping cheeks while you're in a AR space, seeing the peak efficiency and performance of the cheek clapping. Huh? Because apparently the girls are already for it. The fuck?
I responded by saying, for what? And she answers again, cracking time, alluding to me filming her with the glasses on board camera. Now, at the time, I did not feed into this. I did not show enthusiasm. I didn't even agree to get the glasses. I just responded and said, good night, sweet dreams. So 1 whole week goes by without...
Why is my camera disconnecting? All I did was change it from a fucking POV port to a main port in the PC. And that's twice that it's disconnected.
Us talking about it whatsoever. And then on August 25th, Rowan texts me saying, you should get those meta things for real. So I respond by saying, I think I'm going to avoid filming anything involving sex for a while, showing that I'm clearly not the person interested in filming our sexual encounters. She is. As you can see in the text, even when I say I don't want to film us having sex, she pushes the issue. Now, to be clear, we did eventually take videos of ourselves being intimate, but I was given explicit consent every single time. And on a few occasions, she even took the phone out of my hand and was holding it while filming us. To be clear, there was never a tripod or a hidden camera. It was always handheld. And in every single video, she was clearly aware of the camera, making eye contact with the camera lens. Also on September 8th, Rowan texts me, I do miss it though, in regards to our sexual interactions. She follows it up by saying send the videos. Keep in mind, these are videos that she claims in present day were taken without her consent. She then goes on to say, and I quote, I will watch them and keep them close to my heart, clearly indicating she has no problem whatsoever with them existing. I'm an extremely paranoid person. He then goes on to say, and I quote, I will watch them and keep them close.
Oh my god, my camera keeps disconnecting. Why the fuck is this happening? Why is my shit fucking breaking? Why can't you fucking word right? Why do you keep doing this to me? Just function, oh my god. Stop disconnecting. It did again. I hate that it keeps doing this. This is going to be a stream where I'm not going to be on camera. Is that what's happening tonight? Let me fix this. Let me attempt to fix this, actually. Keyword being attempt, chat. Why do I get around? How to say no use? All right. However, when we were being dead ass about it, this song would go hard. Never put your bet on BPD and green Kiwis, cause you'll get tricked by the NSP. When you go down on the internet and Twitter, you'll get blown in an X and put in a hex, and then you'll be straight up perplexed. You get no money cause you're acting cringe online. Alright. I'm on camera. Okay. If it disconnects again, we're just gonna have to fucking go without it, okay? I don't know what else to fucking tell you. Because he doesn't want to fucking cooperate, apparently. So let's hope the shit doesn't break. Alright? Alright. So, I will watch and keep them close to my heart, like you, my little Tom. In your mind, put this right up next to the shit that was supposedly said about Destiny. Choosing to record himself sucking Iron's cock, and then choosing to dig out Pixie as he was. Rather than him choosing to record it randomly, it is very clear and explicit that it's the girls that are from freaky ass 69 gods. Okay? This has already blown the allegations out of the water. Because the allegation is that he is aggressive and forceful and is outright a rapist. We've only just started.
Close to my heart, clearly indicating she has no problem whatsoever with them existing. I'm an extremely paranoid person when it comes to my personal life and my sex life and my dating life. As a public figure, I just like to keep my private life private. So I was very hesitant to send Rowan any sexual videos we had taken. However, I did send her one single still image from one of the videos where my face is obscured. I guess there was some lingering thought in the back of my mind that if her accounts were not locked down super well and if she had been hacked, then the videos could have been made public. Now, there's an implication she makes a few different times that I'm basically blackmailing her with these videos.
Somebody asked if you...
And then these clips come directly from Matt at the internet. Specifically from Null's live stream, where he likes to present information and content as though it is anything other than him actively gossiping live on camera and asserting things as fact based on the content that he's been given, because it's very easy to trick Josh to do this. It's very easy to do this, which is why people stopped trusting Kiwi Farms to be objective and brutal with how people behave and just expect it to be green Reddit now. Because here you are validating the argumentation of what these women are coming forward and talking about and presenting it as is the case, so you can basically have a grievance out with people that you don't like in the commentary community.
You had any intention of getting any sort of law enforcement involved, but I feel like you answered this where you just want to try to compel him to delete whatever he has on you, and that's like the extent of your interest.
Yeah. You want to compel him to delete anything he has on you, quote unquote. Assuming that the only versions and the only copies exist on his phone, That is you effectively, inherently going to the farms to try to blackmail him instead. So, there's strike one, there's strike two.
Yeah. And if he doesn't, I don't know. I'm kind of confused about what to do, but we'll see.
At no point anywhere did Rowan
You're not confused of what to do, because you were one of the first people to go onto the forums and onto the box, who then started having fights with people, which precipitated his response to this content, with you saying which of you, of all the accusers, were the bigger victim. And you didn't know what the fuck to do. Why would you go to Kiwi Farms of all places to go do it? Why not make a YouTube account and then post the shit and then at the content at people? No, you knew exactly what to do. There's strike three. You're not a helpless victim. You are very knowledgeable, you are very knowing, and you are very expectant to be a person who was willing to do so. Even the farms clocked your shit. It doesn't take a genius. It does not take a genius.
provide any proof of me threatening to release these videos of us having sex, or threatening to send them anywhere. So she has no reason to believe that I would ever release them. The idea that I, a person who makes a living as a public figure, would publicly release videos of me fucking my ex-girlfriends who get back at her is so insane. Not only would that incur reputational harm beyond belief, but also serious legal consequences. The only person who has ever sent an image of us having sex to anyone is, ironically, Rowan. Days after I broke up with her, she, without my consent, sent the only image she has of us having sex to the owner of Kiwi Farms. Here, listen to him describe it.
Oh, and one other thing, I forgot about this, but you actually, Sacramento had sent me a picture that was like censored. Apparently the only picture that he would send you is one where his face isn't clearly visible in it, but you can, I can tell the desk, like his computer is moved onto the table, but I can still see like the monster is like on the cozy, that's like on the table, like in the exact same position, so I can tell it's clearly his desk.
I guess I just find it ironic that someone who's accusing me of blackmailing her with her nudes literally sent a picture of us having sex to a man that she has never met. Now, Josh recounts.
So, you took the only image that he's ever taken and given to you that, while obscuring his face, was immediately used as believable content proof and then presented as evidence of the allegations you made against him. And he did not for a second think, maybe they're trying to use the form as a form of antagonism through the net, getting us to do their dirty work. Someone who is deathly afraid of his website being taken down because he is being pushed off the clear net and being denied from resources, services, business vendors, and sources to do his job. You just allow your platform to be used as a harassment campaign. Good job, jackass! Honk honk!
I'm seeing this image and talks about how hard it looks like I was grabbing Rowan on the mouth, essentially using it as evidence to support another claim she makes that I'm too rough during sex, which I find very interesting because after I sent Rowan this photo, she texted me saying, I like when you cover my mouth like that. Again, she texted me asking me to send her the videos, and she says, yeah, whenever you're not locked in, send the videos. It will fix me for about a week. Goon sesh. This is clear evidence that she has no problem with these videos existing. To this day, she's provided zero proof that the videos were recorded non-consensually, or that I was blackmailing her with them, or that I had any intention of sending them to anyone. Reason being, I never did any of those things. In Rowan's interview, she claims that I never asked for consent to film these sex acts, and says that she wouldn't notice I was filming until 30 seconds to 1 minute into it.
I'm not sure of an exact date, but maybe like 2 or 3 months into our relationship, he never asked me. He would just pull out his phone and record, and I wouldn't
That's a lie!
notice until maybe 30 seconds in a minute into it.
Now, I obviously can't and would never show these videos to anyone, but in them, it's undeniable that she is staring directly into the camera from the moment the video starts. She never once questions why I'm filming or what I'm doing, because the reality is that every single time we recorded, I had explicit permission. Ask yourself, how could she possibly have never consented to filming when she's literally holding my phone next to her face as she sucks my dick? In the interview, she says that...
Well, you see here, this is one of those moments. Let's gut this out, shall we? Tom, I have to believe you, but I have to see the picture. Tom, we gotta see the picture. Tom, we have to see the pictures. I don't want to, but a big fat man once told me I gotta see it for myself. I think in this case we can in fact take him for his word, chat. I do believe in this case we can in fact just take the man for his word.
What really concerns her is that I wouldn't send her any of the sexual videos we took.
I'd asked him multiple times if he could please send me the videos, so like he's not the only one who has videos of me naked, and he either ignored the question or was just like, no.
As I said earlier, I was paranoid to send these videos to anyone, even her, for fear of them leaking. Weirdly, in messages at the time, she seems to actually get it, saying, I want to see them videos, goon time, before following up by saying that she actually understands why I'm scared to send them to her. Now we're going to fast forward to October 17th in our text, and Rowan says, do you ever go back and watch our videos? And I reply, yes, I do sometimes, actually. Rowan responds that she's thinking about that right now, and then says, quote, need that big white cock. It's also kind of strange to me that...
Don't hurt him, white chocolate. Don't kill him, rotisserie chicken. God damn. That shit flabbergasted me so much, I broke the straw in my hands. What else can I say, my nigga? Get him, Tiger, don't... Like, get him, Crouching Tiger, don't hide that dragon. Apparently, he's got him strung out on that Mushu pork, and they can't get more of it. She like it, she love it, she like it, she love it, she needs it, she want it, she want to get more with it.
That at the time she referred to them as our videos, but in the present she's claiming she doesn't even want them to exist. On November 6th, Rowan asked me why I never asked her for nudes. I say I have a bunch of videos already, and that's why. She does not express that she has a problem with me having the videos. She doesn't complain about it. She doesn't say they were taken without her consent. In fact, throughout the entire relationship, she was sending me nude photos of herself unsolicited every single month. Why would you send nude photos of yourself to someone you think could use them against you? Rowan personally posted dozens of screenshots of our texts, and not a single one shows her bringing up any of the videos being non-consensual. Another interesting fact is that during our breakup, she texted
There's another strike.
me a pros and cons list, which she apparently had written about me on January 4th, 2026. And in the cons section, she complains about a lot of things, but she doesn't mention non-consensual videos whatsoever. With that out of the way, we can move on to Rowan's claim that I was sexually abusive towards her. In that same pros and cons list, Rowan wrote, says he likes hurting me during sex and making me bleed. This also reflects her public claims about me, but the great irony is that I never even said this. She did. On September 14th, 2025, Rowan sent me a text saying, quote, I'm such a freak. I like when it hurts and bleeds after.
BPD and ecstasy, self-strive by self-circumceive. I don't, Listen, I ain't gonna tell you anything that is even close to cap, okay? I ain't gonna tell you how I've gotten down in the past. I ain't gonna tell you how I get down now with my woman. But I'm going to be direct with you. Some women can be weird into some very weird shit, okay? We've all seen it. We've all heard about it. We've talked about it before. We're going to talk about it again in the future. But, unironically, I'm such a sick freak. I like it when it hurts and bleeds after something wrong. She knows she has a kink. She admits that she likes the kink. Are we sure this isn't a manufactured controversy made by Big Turkey to push PWC propaganda? Please, don't make me laugh. You'll kill me. Oh. I'm going to say no. And now I need to spit out the saliva. Hopefully the antacids help. Despite the fact an assassination attempt was made on my life by steel cheese. But I was just saying. If the woman herself admits that she has a problem and goes out of her way to weaponize her fetish and then lie about it and claim that the source came from him rather than for her, This should be an open and shut case. Much unlike her legs.
Something wrong. In one of her public-facing posts about me, she posted an interaction with Reese as follows. She says, quote, like, we don't need to do it 3 times in one day, or do it so hard I hurt and bleed. And I said, well, if you don't want to have as much sex, we don't got it. We can do other things. And she says, okay, I like doing other things too. The way the screenshot is cropped, it comes across like I'm some, like, just like super callous freak who's brutally jackhammering her vagina like Steve mining diamonds. But in the full uncropped screenshot, her immediate response to me after that is, I'm a freak, I say this, and as soon as I see you, I'm gonna be freaky again, I can't resist. In the interview, she elaborates on this even more, specifically claiming she would bleed almost every time we had sex.
Okay, we would bleed.
Yes.
She would bleed almost every time we have sex from what? People very rarely talk about sexual virility and health, but you do not bleed every time from sex, just from normal penetration. You have to be doing something specifically special, assuming that you're of sound body, sound mind, legal age, and you are physiologically mature enough to actually handle regular sex. If you're always bleeding, it is the case that you are either one, on the rag, which is to say, during your luteal phase, and going off of your cycle onto a new period. B, you have some type of internal or external wound source that is being irritated by the friction, which is then stimulating irritation from increased blood flow that then causes bleeding. Or C, some type of fistula or other such crevasse caused by a fungal or a area tear that has created a type of canal that creates what would be called a wound sinus that is causing for a problem to appear in and under the dermis of the area that is causing bleeding from another source to pool through that area. Very similar to the ideal of a hemorrhoid. Assuming that she doesn't have sexual transmitted diseases, is not a carrier, does not have anything concurrently going on, doesn't cut herself in that way, because that'd be wild, or anything else of that matter. You're just assuming, and you want me to believe, that every single time you getting busted wide open by TurkeyTom, you and every other girl, this nigga's cock is so large, his dick is so big, he's literally ripping you apart. I don't know, maybe Steel Cheese has something to that. Maybe there is some big white cock propaganda going on here.
You didn't stop.
Yeah, I would bleed almost every time.
This is just blatantly untrue as well, and it's easy to see by going through our text messages. On August 17th of 2025, the day after my birthday, Rowan and I were planning to go to Mass, and she wanted to have sex with me. So she texted me saying, Tom, I started my period. I was driving, so I couldn't say much, but I replied by saying, that sucks, I'm 40 minutes away. She follows up by asking me if I mind getting my sword bloody, and I say, I'll be okay. So if it wasn't already clear, she's asking me if I'm okay with getting blood on my dick. Why would this be something she's even asking, if every time we have sex, I'm making her bleed? Keep in mind, this is months into us going out and being sexually active, and she's still worried that the idea of bleeding during sex would gross me out. Now, as soon as she began posting about me, people were naturally perplexed by her claim that she was bleeding from sex every single time. They asked if she had some kind of medical problem, and she says, I have no health issue that I know of, never bled during sex before, it was the aggression. Just gave in.
That's bullshit, because if he's aggressive so much during sex to the point that he is abrasing you, that means this motherfucker is hitting you with a full breathing pass, all legs back, held down from the inside with the pin, and he hitting you with some kind of weird-ass position that got you looking like boom, 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 and that's just not gonna fucking work, okay? Because if he's hitting it like that, the problem is that you'd have to be all the way back, completely filtered, and he'd have to be hitting like that. If he was doing that to you, you would have internal bruising on your cervix. You would have felt it. You would feel it every single time. You would have gotten a medical checkup. And they would have been able to show you with internal scans when you went to an OBGYN to do the fucking picture scan. To then have that admissible in court, because that would be considered a form of partner rape. Saying as how you did not go to the police and do any of these things, and instead went to a fucking gossip forum, I'm going to go ahead and say bullshit. And my credentials for knowing that it's bullshit is I used to do sex for money. Like, inherently bullshit, okay? And that's assuming that you didn't tell him to do it until it hurts. And I know the meme is that you do it to her legs quiver. But I have never heard of an e-girl claiming that he should do it until her body bleeds in that way. Okay? Oh no. The sin is coming. Trying to get the camera to function now has the camera glitching. Let's see if I can fix it again. I doubt it. Isn't this just our luck, chat? The camera begins to fuck up because I essentially drop what we're going to call the deep dick knowledge on you. The DDK. Giving away information on how one ought to be able to turn that body out. And as soon as that happens, the world says, no, Carl. They are not prepared to see this image before their eyes. Avert your gaze. Avert your gaze. You good? Again? I really don't want to go back and forth with this fucking webcam.
Into it after a while and told him I liked it, but I bled after almost every single time. I feel like most of the statement has already been dispelled, but even the smallest detail of no medical condition that I know of is also false. On September 24th of 2025, Rowan texted me saying she's going to switch from her current birth control, next one on, to the pill because she has month-long periods that cause her to bleed. So regardless of sex, Rowan admittedly bleeds for an entire month. One of Rowan's main criticisms is that I'm too rough. In fact, she just...
So, literally all those things, by the way, I've only seen like maybe the first 20 minutes. Optically, I've witnessed the first 10 minutes with my eyes. I've heard the first 20 minutes ahead of time. However, having covered and put up the allegations already inside the Discord a week and a half prior to this, and having informed people about the case, he provides the evidence that proves the argument for myself. Period. So, changing from one birth control to another, causing a different type of cycle to appear, and thus the bleeding and the shedding that is associated with it, is a lot different than he fucks me so roughly that I shit and bleed and piss and squirt cum and blood. Again, you went to a drama forum with this information instead of putting in a police report or a restraining order or any type of shit, only because it benefited you to attempt to destroy and ruin his life.
Describes our sexual interactions as intense, violent aggression every single time.
I genuinely did think that he would maybe change and stop being so aggressive, because he told me before that he would like kind of chill out, but he never did chill out, and it kept being the same very intense, violent aggression every single time.
He also alleges that I hit, choked, and beat her without asking, essentially painting me as an abusive partner.
Unfortunately, I did still stay with him, and I know a lot of people seem to have a lot of questions about that, and honestly, you were completely correct to question my judgment as to why I stayed with him, even though he was, hitting and choking and beating me.
There's this...
I mean, is there any attempt to doubt that it's because you're BPD? Like, you're cluster B? Of course you would have stayed with it, if allegedly. Wait, Carl, I do not know the Carl lore. We don't got time to explain Carl lore tonight. We ain't got time for that. Ask on another stream. Write it down. Ask later. And then maybe we'll explain it on Thursday. Anyways, it is the case that you're a cluster B, lady. It's very obvious you have cluster B, just like any other e-girl on the internet. You staying with him is because you like the fame, you like the access to opportunity, you like the access to drama, and you like being in the center of attention.
Idea she's trying to paint, that in the relationship, I was constantly pushing this rough, violative sex onto her, and even though she didn't like it and was being abused, she stayed with me. I've seen some people question her saying things like, well, if you hated it, why didn't you just leave? But realistically, sometimes people do stay with abusive partners, and I don't want to invalidate their stories through my response. The real reason that she didn't leave is because she loved having sex with me, and throughout our entire relationship was constantly begging me to validate her fantasies. In this first...
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Because it's much more likely that if she feels like she's being abused, and why does she stay, or attempt to narrate her hurt and pain to you in the relationship, why is she staying out of the relationship? It's either because she tried to communicate with you and you didn't listen, there was no attempt of communication, and she just basically swallowed her pride, She swallowed her pride and then let it explode out of her emotionally when she decided that she was annoyed with how she didn't act when she could have acted. Or she's fucking lying. But let's go down the route of she's fucking lying. Hit it with me! Hit it! Give it to me!
She loved having sex with me, and throughout our entire relationship was constantly begging me to validate her fantasies. In this first screenshot here, she expresses that she is a real freak and says that she wants me to kidnap her, even saying, I want to be tied up, taken to the woods, and pounded. So maybe there's something wrong with me. I respond by saying that we should not have sex in the woods. And she says, you nervous? Right here in this next one, Rowan says, I yearn to be manhandled and led across a dark room. That's why I like you. I reply saying, you are like a dungeon person. And she says, you are big like a caveman and I feel small next to you. In fact, anytime I wanted to have more loving, slow, I guess sensual intercourse with Rowan in the
Sensual. Passionate.
bedroom, she actually had a problem with that. I remember one specific instance where I was being more slow.
BPD women having a problem with passionate intimacy? You don't say.
And sensual, and I remember her whispering in my ear saying, I want you to pound me. And that's probably why on June 5th, 2025, she texted me saying, I need to get face fucked for an hour. And I replied by saying, damn, exams suck. On June 7th, she texted me and says, I'm excited to get fucked borderline domestic violently. At one point in the interview, she states that one time I was angry at my ex-girlfriend, and that the next time we had sex, I was particularly aggressive. This is a very strange thing to accuse me of, given that on October 13th, Rowan says, verbatim, sometimes I want to fight you, just so you be more angry when you fuck me. She clarifies saying, I do like that though, even without the fighting. So at every opportunity, this girl is publicly saying, oh my god, look at all this horrible shit he did to me. And then she's texting me that she wants me to kidnap her, tie her up, and pound her in the woods. And if
Yes, exactly. That's probably the most annoying part of the allegations that I noticed when they first started developing compared to when they were then being discussed by the open internet. There is no world where you can say these things and not provide the proof explicit the way that it needed to be provided, the way that it was done during the iMallet situation. When you come forward and you say these things, I have to see evidence. I don't need to see the fucking sex. That's not necessary. But I do need to see your full call logs. I do need to hear your full call logs. I do need to see your full text logs. I don't want clippets. I don't want snippets. I want books, documents, documentation. And not from you stitching it together. From the fucking provider. Because if you're texting back and forth on what is like what? A fucking iPhone? Oh yeah, you can give me the shit from the store. Hell yeah. Give me the fucking logs from the store from your provider. Because this was a two-way communication between your cell phone. Please. Subpoena, if we have to. He's abusive, right? He's a rapist, right? You go the extra mile to put a rapist away, right? Right? Fuck out of here.
So at every opportunity, this girl is publicly saying, oh my god, look at all this horrible shit he did to me. And then she's texting me that she wants me to kidnap her, tie her up, and pound her in the woods. And if anyone is putting up any resistance to that, it's me. She once again lies about weird little things in the interview. Like she says that I was her second boyfriend.
He was my second boyfriend.
And when I heard this, I was very confused because she told me that I was her third. In my opinion, she said this to make herself seem less sexually experienced than she really is, to make the case stronger that I was taking advantage of her. Now in this next post, she writes, again, I'm not
going to really care about that particular detail. That's just a woman being upset about her body size. I don't really care. Body count, I should say, rather. Who cares if he's your second or third boyfriend? You're asking for things that basically comes from someone who is either very, very aware of their sexual turn-ons and wants them to be enjoyed by the partner, or somebody who's very experienced with their sexual kinks, or wants to become very exploratory with their kinks, and therefore feels very open to do this with someone who they feel comfortable with doing. I don't care if that's your first boyfriend or your thousandth boyfriend that you do it with. In some people's cases, you could probably go from a fucking square of a husband to a hot fling that's a dirtbag from a fucking bar. The amount of sex that you've had with other people does not defer the fact that you lied about your kinks and you tried to put the source of it on a man you're painting as abusive, rather than you just wanting to be a dirty slut. It would not be disrespectful, rude, or out of tone to say that's what you wanted to be. You wanted him to treat you like a dirty slut. You wanted him to slut and gut you. Busting 3 nuts is the task. With your panties all up in your ass. You want this. You go to the forums and you say, no, this wasn't what I wanted. I wanted him to be nice and gentle and treat me like a princess and have sex with me in the missionary position for the purposes of procreation. And here you are, up on the back of the bed with your leg behind your head and one leg over behind the other head like a pretzel, telling him to fuck you into the pavement. Worse, fuck you into the bathroom floor. Into the forest floor. Hang your head over the edge of the bed while you stick your tongue out like, ah. So you can, so that your soft palate can memorize every vein of his BWC. No amount of sexual partner count is going to change the problem there. The worst thing you can do on the internet is lie. I think the worst thing you can do on the internet is be inconsistent. Actually, no. In my personal opinion, the worst thing that you can do on the internet is be inconsistent, be impatient, and then act like a know-it-all. Those are the three things I think are the worst thing you can do on the internet. But in this case, lying about this kind of thing and lying to a gossip forum who's going to try and fight with knives out, yeah, not smart. Not good, not smart.
Not alleging anything illegal, just that he would hit and choke because he was a super gooner. Sort of normalize it in my head, but it's definitely not okay to do that. So for information on how I supposedly...
If it's not illegal, then you wouldn't have a problem with just simply having communicated this to him. Instead, you wanted to go to the internet police to have this antagonized against him. Actually, it is illegal to domestically abuse your partner. Actually. Yes, it is. It is charges that can be pressed. Actually. I'm talking about the worst thing you do on the internet thing. I mean, I suppose you could. What I'm saying isn't being a hypocrite. It is, well, I guess you could probably say it's a form of being a hypocrite. I suppose that's one way you could frame it. I feel like it's a lot more, that it's a lot more nuanced than just being a hypocrite. But for the sake of time, let's say that it is.
Normalize this behavior. Let's go back to the beginning of our relationship and see what our conversations about sex were like. On Wednesday, May 14th, after only hanging out with Rowan once, she texted me saying she's excited to hang out with me again, and she already knows my penis is massive, without me saying anything sexual to her at this point. So as you might suspect, we did have intercourse on our second date, and after this first sexual encounter, Rowan texted me saying, quote, rape thing is so hot. I never...
Sex on the second date? Ooh, bestie, you're too easy. Ooh, bestie, you're too easy. Incels, eat your hearts out. Ooh, wait. But more importantly, excuse me, the rape thing?
So as you might suspect, we did have intercourse on our second date, and after this first sexual encounter, Rowan texted me saying, quote, rape thing is so hot. I never did that before. You should tie me up next time. My response to this is, consensual sex is good. And she says, you know what I meant by that. I don't know what to call it. So from the very first interaction we have, she calls our sex rape for some reason, saying how...
So, she's into CNC, basically. She's into consensual, non-consent sex. Again, being treated like a dirty whore. She's into CNC, and her first sexual encounter, again, assuming that she's supposedly being plowed, is that she likes feeling helpless, being small next to him, and being made to hurt. Not necessarily being made to bleed, not necessarily being beaten within an inch of her life, but she likes to be made to feel. This has all the limiting factors of someone who is effectively into BDSM. Not more than your normal, casual, kinky sex. She knows what the fuck she's into. And she's making it clearly known in the beginning of the relationship. Or situationship. This doesn't seem like it doesn't feel like it's a relationship. It feels like it's a situationship that started with, mashed potato balls in her drawers.
How hot it is, to which I clarified that it was consensual, and she says, I know what you mean. And for the record, I never indulged in her fantasy to be tied up, just not something I was interested in anyway. And we also never did anything in the woods, in case you're curious about that. To hammer this point home, let's go over some more texts where Rowan talks about sex. On Friday, May 16th, she texts me asking when I'm free, and says that she needs my, quote, big dick. And I say, don't say and she says, it is, and I need it. On May 18th, Rowan says she's not used to being with someone with as big of a dick as mine. She says that it hurt her, but she wants to do it again, and she won't be a pussy about it. Some of her public claims about me are more desperate and weird than others. Like she complains that I didn't eat her out.
Like, he never once ate me out, but he would demand that I would constantly suck his dick.
Well, here's a question. When you asked him to eat you out, was this during those time periods where you claimed that you were supposedly free bleeding while you were changing your medication? Because I'm a professional eater. Okay? I clean my plate. I've done some shit. Both for money, for opportunity, and because I really needed it. And or wanted it. However, asking for the partner to eat you out while you have already expressed that you supposedly bleed a lot is asking him to basically lick your fucking blood. That's nasty. 2, shouldn't this be something less than, I don't like that he didn't give me reciprocative foreplay? Because, like, it seems to me that you oppress him for sex. So it seems more likely that you want to suck him up. And you're so eager for the cock, you immediately bend over so that you can take it. Hopefully, because we're now past the point that I would have pre-watched. No, we're not. Technically not. You would have presented yourself to him in a way where you would have said, listen, I love giving, but I'm going to need to receive some too. You act too much like a pillow prince. I need a neck, son. Give me that head. Because if he doesn't explain that this was something that you explicitly told him that you weren't necessarily in need of, this is you trying to spoil an accusation. And honestly, in this day and age, I don't think that's even close enough to a really disrespectful problem, right? Because what's worse? A clumsy lover who, because you're bad with communication, doesn't realize, know, or understand that you want him to heat up the engine with foreplay, or a respectful, kind, abusive bastard of a partner like I'm Alex, that effectively takes advantage of you. But on the outside, he's so woke. He's so woke. So which one do you want? Do you want a clumsy guy who's not going to beat the shit out of you? Or you want a Lothario who knows how to hit all your spots, but every single time he hits that spot, he stabs you in the ribcage? 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years in prison. The thing that you're describing, that if he was doing it to you, up to 10 years in prison. 5 to 10. They usually like weighing on 8. But I suppose BPD girls wouldn't know that because all they know is eat hot chip, suck a man's cock, swallow his cum, and lie.
And like, yeah.
But here is a text message of me directly telling her, look, I'm a selfish lover. And she says, it's okay, I like sucking dick more than getting eaten out. I'm a real freak. Despite her acting like I am a...
Normal foreplay is being a freak. But more importantly, that she preferred giving head more than he did, and he admitted that he was selfish. Oh no! He didn't beat them, he didn't hurt them, he didn't harm them, he didn't blackmail them, and he told them up front that he likes what he likes. Put him in jail, obviously. Ruin his career. This cannot be the allegations. No, this cannot be the case. This cannot be the strength of the allegations being beaten like this. We're about 1/3 in. There's no way that he's going to completely clear this. Certainly no. I was told clearly by multiple people, and especially in a couple of situations, that, lol, you don't know what you're talking about, Carl. Actually, he's 100% guilty. It seems like those people who told me I don't know what I'm talking about are beginning to look a little bit fucking sus, a little bit fucking dumb, a little bit biased even.
Like sexual degenerate, repeatedly doing sex acts she doesn't enjoy. Here she is saying, you match my freak, kind of. Not you're too freaky or we've been too freaky. She says that I match her freak. Here in this next one, she says, I'm getting on my knees as soon as I see you, by the way, freak mode. In this next one, I give a little bit of input. I tell her I'm thinking about her.
Okay, she's a cock slut. More power to you, girl!
Her pussy. And she responds to me saying, you're going to tear it up or what? Now, my question for you in the audience would be, do people who are into slow, romantic, candlelit sex describe intercourse as their pussy getting torn up? I would say probably...
It really depends. Some women are very vocal, some men are not very vocal, but they respond faster to physicality repetition. In my experience, it's about, like, actually 60-70. Like, literally 6-7. 60% of the women will... like, use the wrong words and the wrong terms because the thing that they imagine that they want isn't either the thing that they expected that they get, or they didn't know that the thing that they wanted entailed something else they didn't expect. Like, for example, sucking someone up and then getting bent into a pretzel actually involves a lot more flexibility and core strength, as well as the man holding you down and keeping it in place, assuming that you're not holding your own legs, than it does... actually being a contortionist. And eye-to-eye contact in the middle of the intercourse. Being as intense or more intense than they imagined it would be, compared to a man trying to communicate what it is that he wants, or how he wants it, how he imagines it, and being able to reciprocate said action, should they be asked, whether by a woman or another man. Speaking as a bisexual, and usually as the one that's topping the boys, many of those butt sluts do not realize exactly how much difficulty goes into something like, say, necessary prep time. And that's when I'm going to leave that statement. However, between the sexes, I would say women are more likely to not really use consistent words. Maybe she says, what I really need is to be fucked to sleep like Trap Bunny Bubbles. But what she really wants is that she wants like a good 8 to 13 minutes followed by 40 minutes of cuddling. Whereas what the guy might say is that, you know, I just want to go nice and slow. But what he actually wants is 2 hours of pounding you in like 15 various positions. And like watching it go in and out, and in and out, and in and out. Type shit like that. That, okay, my opinion, but I have an expert opinion.
Probably not. Here in this next one, she says she's going to leave Mass early on Sunday to go get some dick. And keep in mind, I don't want to reveal any of this information. Okay.
Oh, that's just crazy. You're going to leave the house of God to go to to become a servant of Satan on your knees. That's crazy, girl. How you going to sit in the house of the Lord and be like, I need some cock? I can think of a woman off the top of my head right now that's a mutual of mine who unironically does in fact believe and behave like that. However, she clearly is dick addicted. So, it's normal for her. I don't think I've ever heard of a person doing something like that. Unless, of course, they really are down in the doonies like that. In which case, going and on and knocking them boats.
Okay, I don't want to be saying this. I don't want to be here right now. And I would never intend on sexually shaming an ex-partner. But she's gone out of her way to not only shame me, but also to lie in an effort to paint me as some gooner, freak, borderline rapist. So
I would say that if you're just describing the things that she's doing, you're not necessarily shaming her. Because the part of the thing that's really important here is that she said something that is untrue. Here's the proof that contradicts what you said. Oh no! You in defending yourself, you just shamed and besmirched her. Nigga, how? She was proud enough to say it then. Wait, she's secret about this shit? I don't care. My reputation comes before you trying to kill my reputation. Fuck you. I think that's the important part there. He sees it as possibly embarrassing them and slut-shaming them, sex-shaming them. I don't care. I don't see it as shaming. Me, I don't see it as shaming. Because if we're putting shit on the table, we act like grown, mature adults here. Right? Between the obvious jokes, I'm not saying this to put shame on these women. I'm saying this to be like, wow, that's not even close to the extreme that it really could be. Or could have been. Because the neutral alternative is that we allow them to own the narrative and effectively claim that they have sexual maturity and awareness, when in many cases these girls in fact do not. In their haste to besmirch the personal image as both a disingenuous lie and a professional dishonest discourtesy towards Tom. They clearly showed that they care more about trying to hurt him and harm him than they do about telling the truth. Because the truth of the matter is that all the kinks coming from the girl. It's not coming from Turkey. Like, that's bullshit at the end of the day. Like, you clearly want to have a go at TurkeyTom, but you're not capable of owning your shit. And so, you lie. When he reveals the lie, he has to bring evidence. He brings the evidence from the text logs as they actually are that demonstrates that it came from you, not from him. He tries to give his opinion. Y'all then try to use that as a case example that because he responded, it's worse than if he had said nothing. If he had said nothing, his reputation would be excoriated. Because he said something, he seems to be clearing. However, but you were so mean about the way you did it. Fuck off with that.
So let's keep going. Here, Rowan makes a post saying that I'm a Patrick Bateman gooner because I flexed in the mirror after we had sex.
Patrick Bateman gooner. I would say that has less to do with ego and, American Psycho than it does with just, like, the meme of flexing on it. But okay. I mean, me, because I know about the people, that's more like King Nazir. That motherfucker hitting the moats when he's twerking in the pussy, But, on some King Nazir shit, maybe? I don't know. Is that a problem? That's strange. Is it true? Let's find out.
But the strange part about this is that I have a text of her saying, quote, I keep thinking about how hot it was watching myself take your big dick in the mirror. Gooner as fuck, sorry. Reading through what she says about...
So yes, indeed, she is exactly as I described earlier. She is in fact a cockslut. She wishes to be made into a cum dumpster. She wishes to be used as an honor hole, as a living honor hole. She literally wants to watch it go in and out. She wants to see the veins. She wants to get a impression in her soft palate, in her throat, of every vein. And she likes the feeling of being made to hurt, to the degree of having a masochistic viewpoint of how she enjoys said sexual activity. I find that strange, because there's a lot more that goes into the ego of wanting that than there is the ego of the person who's supposedly taking that from you, because it's a two-way street. Why would he need to harm you in order for him to have sex with you? That's the first thing. Because we're not talking about no porn shit. Regular stuff. Why would he hurt you in that way when literally your words have shown that you've clearly wanted it? And then when he doesn't give that to you in the way that you need, why would you then further choose to illustrate this in your DMs? It's not clicking. It's not clicking.
Me publicly. It's like every accusation she makes towards me is actually some kind of confession to her own behavior. On June 25th,
True!
she's wondering if she can give me head after getting her wisdom teeth taken out. She obviously wouldn't be able to do that because it causes your face to swell up like a blimp. And she responds with, no, I gotta do it as much as possible before. Here, Rowan's asking me, am I the tightest, most perfect girl you ever fucked? On July 2nd, she says, I miss that dick so much, I'm under spells. On July 5th, I bring up us wearing condoms. She says, you, no, and then tells me that she wants me to cream pie her, and that she's a real freak. After I say happy birthday,
hey, yo!
She says that all she wants for her birthday is my big, white... In this next one, she texts me saying, I miss feeling like I'm going to break in half, not gonna lie. In this next one, she says, I like when you make me choke on it and call me a good girl. On July 23rd, she says, can I come over and suck on it Friday night? Which I don't accept. I tell her that I'm busy. She then says, I have the big white cock addiction. Interestingly enough, in this next one, she's asking me if I can have sex with her while holding her in the air, essentially, and tells me that I should try to do it. Once again, a pretty bizarre thing to ask someone to do who allegedly has been abusing you for 3 months by now with overly rough sex. On July...
The thing about that, as again, there requires an illustration so we can really understand what she's specifically demanding here, okay? The idea that you want him to do something simple. Both legs up, held in frontal. Effectively hitting a position, legs apart in the gate, so you actually have some fucking leg support. This, technically, it'd be more like, because you're curving them into the curvature of your cock. Hitting this is actually not even fucking abusive. This is normal, actually. Now, assuming you have them up against the wall and you're using some kind of flexion, still like this. The only way that you could make standing sex aggressive is, again, you're asking him to aggressively pound you. I think we can all use what our assumptions, as we are learning way too much about their sexual intercourse, that she must be asking for him to pound her. Like, pounding her standing in the air, pounding her against the wall, putting her up against a pillar, and making her feel every inch, filling her up, cream pieing her. This is consistent with somebody who clearly understands she wants the limitations pushed. Hey, yo, Tusky, how you doing? And put some fucking earbuds on! You're in public! Like... It seems to me that literally he's just clearing by understanding how sex works with consent.
July 21st, she starts off by texting me, I hate gooner men, and then not even 1 minute later she says,
You hate gooner men, but you are a gooner woman, and a gooner man would clearly give you everything you fucking asked for.
I need that big white cock. On August 23rd, she says, whenever I wake up without my morning Tom face fuck, I am sad. On September 2nd, she expresses that she wished she lived closer to me, but if she did, it would be an issue because she would want to come suck my dick all the time. On September 17th, she sends me an Instagram reel of someone praying the rosary. I don't respond, and she follows up by saying, I miss that dick so much. Here in this next photo, she sends me a picture of her in lingerie with the caption, when it's rape time. And after she said that, all I did was respond with a photo of the movie Just Friends. On Thursday, September 25th, 7:30 a.m. Rowan says, I hope you come. I got something special for our rape times. I say, change that to consensual sexual encounters, and she says, I know. She expands on this particular
So, literally every single time, it's just like, when she says things like rape time, he's like, haha, you mean consensual sex, like for the intention of a person who's in a relationship who likes me, right? She's like, yeah, okay. I think she had the intention of always exposing this later at a later date and hoping that he wouldn't go back behind himself and make sure that he didn't say something that could be taken out of context just so that he could be able to beat these kind of allegations. Which really, honestly, is not that much of like the effort it takes to really prevent yourself from getting taken advantage of. But really, you gotta respect the dedication. Like, you gotta understand and respect the dedication that this takes. Just every single time swatting her down, never just letting her get away with it, always correcting her. It is something that is almost consistent with a sports clinician whose job it is to keep whores off of you. The dedication is immaculate.
message and says, are you mad at me? I know it's consensual. So even as we're approaching over 4 months of being together, she's still telling me their sex is consensual and that she likes it. Now that I've gone through a lot of our messages, I think it's pertinent that we get into the month of October. This is the month that Rowan has publicly claimed that there was one specific incident that occurred during which she asked me to stop having sex with her and I did not. To be perfectly clear, this never happened. But just to have some fun, we can go through our text day by day in this month to see which day this horrific incident could have possibly occurred. On October 2nd, she texts me saying, you are perfect. On October 3rd and 4th, we hung out. She asked me if I got home okay, and she says I am her formal date in her heart. She then says that she hates when anyone comments on her body, even in a positive way, and I tell her that she should eat slop and go for a walk and not worry about it, and that she is beautiful. On October 8th, she continues being sexual, complimenting my arm. She then resends me a meme that says, me if I do not have violent sex very soon. On October 8th, she also says, I miss my handsome
Now that's a fucking Gunner image if I've ever fucking seen one.
my arm. She then resends me a meme that says, me if I do not have
Me, if I don't have violent sex soon, I will literally die and be on an aspirator. And it's a classic fucking hentai. You can tell by the time code in the top left corner. She's aware of the secret texts.
have violent sex very soon. On October 8th, she also says, I miss my handsome husband. Here, I tell her I landed in Texas. She says, I miss sucking.
Then she's telling you her husband? Hey, yo. She's fiending.
She then texts me saying, you gotta start putting rape time in your reminders. On October 9th, she says that she wants to hang out. I say,
That's weird.
I arrived. On October 10th, she says, let me know when you get back safe. I always have such a fun time with you. On October 14th, she says she wishes she was waking up to me in the morning. And she then expresses sadness that I'm not moving closer to the city where she's from to live near her. She then states that her life has improved since meeting me because previously she was partying and going out, and now she spends time with me. On October 15th, she says,
I mean, I guess that's kind of an improvement in a roundabout way, but if every single time you're together, you're fucking like goddamn apes, and she's specifically asking for the unga bunga, is it an improvement? Can there be such a thing as too much sex with your partner, and therefore you're not spending enough time on the personal things in your life that also matter, like work and job and personal separation? I think so. I would think so. Because it gets to a point, right? Also, we're past the point where I would have seen any of this beforehand now. There's a point where you could probably say, if you're spending that much time with a partner, you definitely need to have some personal time. So that you're not just, inhaling his fluids 24/7.
She says, I started my period. I wish I could come suck on it. And that evening, she says, I would kill myself if I had to talk to any other man but you. I say, that's true. I'm a nice guy. And she says, yeah, I'm the bad guy. On October 17th, we've already read this, but this is once again where she says, do you ever go back and watch our videos? And I say, yeah, I do sometimes actually. And she responds to me that she's thinking about that right now and says, quote, need that big white cock. In the mirror, you deadass look like a Hulk compared to me. Now, one thing to note here is that at no point does she express that the videos were taken without her consent. Once again, I just want to have that hammered down here. On October 19th, she texts me saying she needs my milk right now. She then says, I miss my perfect jacked boyfriend. And that night, she sends me nudes. At 10 p.m., she sends me a photo of a guy with a clock in his hand and says, I need that dick. October 21st, I send her a bicep photo. She responds saying, you look good, Tom. I can't wait to suck your dick. She says, I love you. You're a great boyfriend. She then says, you never officially asked me to be your girlfriend, to which I say that we did. On October 23rd, there's proof we hung out that day. She then says, text me when you get home safe, and I say, I made it. She also texted me saying, I love when my bed smells like your musk. On October 24th, she says, good night, you're the best boyfriend ever. October 25th, she sends me a photo of herself in a deer outfit and says, meow, I miss Tom's big white dick. That night, she says, I'm gonna send you ass pics tomorrow. On October 26th, we've read this one before, but here she says, next time during our epic rape time, you can tie me up. I say, you mean consensual sex, and she follows it up by saying, you know what I mean, Tom, rough sex. Once again, these are really weird messages to be sending to someone that you now claim is sexually abusing you on a weekly basis. Now that evening, the evening of October 26th, you can see that I hang out at Rowan's house and I sleep over. Then there's a text that shows that I'm leaving, and mention that I took my friend to the hospital. On October 27th, she says that she hopes I'm doing well. She loves me so much. On October 30th, she says that we'll be married in 2 years. October 31st, at 12:30 in the morning, she texts me and says, I had a nightmare you broke up with me. Oh my god. She then says that I should should cut a hole in my Batman suit for my dick. On October 31st in the afternoon, she says, "Oh Tom, I yearn for the big white cock." On November 1st, at 1:20 a.m., she says, "Up, no good night, I love you. Yeah, it's fucking over." I tell her that I'm falling asleep, and she says, "You was madly in love with her and not me. I'm gonna myself." I tell her good night, I'll see you tomorrow, and I then say, "Do not say anything like that ever again." Now, for a little more context on this specific message and what she's talking about here, during our entire relationship, she was extremely insecure about the fact that before I was with her, I lived with a girl, and she wanted me to basically show more commitment in a relationship than I was willing to show, as far as like moving physically closer to her. And at a few points, she suggested that we move in together, and I said, it's just too soon. We're not really ready for that. I don't think that makes sense after dating for just a few months to move in together. So that's the context of this. She would constantly bring up shit and compare herself to my ex or ex-sexual partners in general, but my ex-girlfriend. And I was like, don't say stuff like that. Like, I'm dating you right now. Stop worrying about this. So later on in the night, she texted.
So that's a very interesting detail here. That possibly recontextualizes a lot of the accusations and also explains the fighting and the infighting between the exes. You've got one ex who effectively is an ironic, unrelenting cum dumpster. But she's probably throwing herself at him so much as a way to compensate with her massive insecurity of feeling like he's drifting away from her and possibly cheating on her. This then makes her an unreliable narrator, more than she already was. So now we gotta obviously hear from the other side, right? But I guess we're getting there.
Text me saying, "Mass is needed. I am such a sweet girl and have love in my heart for you. I know this." And this carries into the morning where she says, "Hi, my sweet love." The next day around noon, she says, "Sorry for being kind of bitchy. Let me know when you're on your way." I say that I've arrived. We take a photo in our Halloween outfits. And on November 2nd, I say that I made it home. And she says that she hopes that I have a good day. So we've now made it through the entire month of October. And there's no indication of any kind of abuse, any kind of mistreatment, or even really anything negative. But almost every single day, she says something about how she loves me, how I'm perfect, how everything is good. And she keeps sending me sexual stuff the entire time without me even asking. At the risk of belaboring the point, I do want to go through...
Yeah, because she's manic as fuck. That's obvious.
A few more messages just for the hell of it, just so I can confidently show that she was extremely sexual the entire time and never expressed any reservations about the sex we were having. On Wednesday, November 5th, out of nowhere, she texts me saying, "I'm trying to make you nut, I just don't respond." On December 12th, she sends me nudes again. Kind of a weird thing to send to someone who apparently has sexual blackmail on you again, is it not? On December 24th, she says that I'm a sweetie pie, she's grateful for me, she wants to make me nut again in her words, and she hopes we're married for a long time. On January 2nd, she sends me a naked photo of herself again, unprompted, and morning of January 8th, Rowan texts me saying that before she comes to visit me, she needs to know that my dick is working. Less than 36 hours later, I broke up with her. So as you can see, the texts don't lie. Rowan was blatantly the more sexual one in the relationship. I produced evidence of this nearly every single week, and she didn't produce any, because there isn't any. But apart from the idea that I filmed her without her consent, and apart from the idea that I was a sexually abusive partner, she actually made some other claims as well. So another claim she made is that I encouraged her eating disorder.
Yeah, I told him very early on, like, hey, like, I've struggled with eating issues in the past, and I'm kind of still trying to gain some weight and make sure everything's okay. And he would tell me, "Oh, I love how skinny you are, I like how small you are, you know, like, I love how your body is, like, skinny," and, like, just say all this stuff that was incredibly hard to hear.
This is also a pretty serious claim, and if true, would undoubtedly make me a pretty fucked up guy, but it's just not true. Here, I directly discourage her eating disorder, even giving her advice on gaining weight, and I say starving yourself is very bad for you. In this next screenshot, she says she used to be thick, but she self-nuked. I say you look the same more or less, I guess you lost some weight, but I think both are attractive. In this next one, she says that she feels skinny fat. I say I don't agree, and I say that working out is good. In this next one, she sends me an image that says nothing tastes as good as skinny feels, and I say that's a sickening image. Now, for those who don't know, this is like a pro anorexia slogan, I guess you would call it. Here in this next screenshot, she asks me if I still like her, if she gained weight, and I say yes. Here in this next one, I tell her explicitly she should eat more food and drink protein shakes to gain weight, and I also tell her that gaining weight would be healthy for her, as well as saying I just want you to be healthy.
So what we're really learning here is that TurkeyTom prescribes the concept of the architect. My nigga! He likes women of all sizes. He's not picky. He does not dissuade from the weight or the skin fat or the slim fat. He loves it on slim fats, and he loves it with red beans, rice, and goji. Where's the problematic behavior? Where's the problematic behavior? He doesn't like eating pussy, but he also doesn't let me starve myself. His cock's too big. I have to go to Kiwi Farms and ruin his career on the internet. He broke up with me after I was a Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Technically, Manic Pixie Nightmare Girl. Yeah. How dare you do this to me, TurkeyTom?
Here in this next one, I tell her that I find her sexy how she is, but that it could be healthy for her to gain 5 to 10 pounds. So this is now 7 instances of me actively discouraging her eating disorder, despite her lying and saying that I was egging it on. Now, one of the other allegations that Rowan has levied towards me is that I'm into age play. She's not alleging that I did it with her, she's alleging that I did it with another girl named Ellie, who I briefly talked to 2 years ago. Now there's no...
And now we got the picture of this one. Say what, big chat?
Levied towards me is that I'm into age play. She's not alleging that I did it with her, she's alleging that I did it with another girl named Ellie.
Take it in. Take it all in. And now, let's rail that song as best as we can.
BPD and ecstasy, conceited with no self-esteem. She's a teenage dream if you hate yourself.
Like, talked to 2 years ago. Now, there's no proof whatsoever that I did anything close to age play, but I did text her about these allegations, and she clearly states that I've never done age play. An ex-girlfriend of mine named Kai, who I dated for 3 years, also publicly posted on Twitter saying that I never abused her and that we never did anything related to age play. So this brings the total counter up to 5 people: Rowan, Katie, Ellie, Kai, and another random girl I banged a year ago named Maddie, who for some reason came out in the midst of all of this to post pictures of herself in my house. And all the
Crazy. Because she wanted attention, basically. These women are getting fame after being related and involved with TurkeyTom. I need my 15 minutes of fame, too. Typical woman thing.
These people say that I never was into this method. The closest thing I've ever engaged in when it comes to age play is that sometimes girls do call me daddy during sex. It's a little embarrassing given that I am me.
I mean, there's a difference between someone being like... I'm not even going to fucking pantomime that shit. There's a difference between someone specifically creating a June/Gregory Fleur era dating dynamic of DDLG and literally one hand back, one hand on frontal, the frontal off, one leg up, digging in her shit. Oh, daddy. Oh. There's a difference between these two things, okay? Ay, papi. Oh, coco tu male. Leg's starting to cramp. Like, there's a clear difference between descriptive sex noises and clear age play, where the only way you get it up, keep it hard, and bust a nut is if a 25-year-old woman basically behaves like, I was just barely 18. My young vagina, type shit. Okay? You can all understand this. We all get this. We all understand this. We all get this. There is a difference. Okay? There is a difference. Any person who has common sense knows there's a difference. Why are we attempting to pretend that we don't know this difference? With all the fucking e-girls that exist online, from Invader V to Morgue Pie to all the other fucking ones, including actual porn stars, I think we understand the difference. Why Kiwi forums would believe this information, even if they received it up to a level with absolutely no proof outside of doctored text message chains. The forum is slipping a lot worse than I thought it was. At least on that particular side of the board. If this were something that came from Beauty Parlor, I would be shocked that they allowed this. But this is probably from the Wild Cow section. And the people who specialize in that are not specialists that specialize in the kind of shit with people like Foodie Beauty. Or any of the other particular female-centric locales. So, male perception here is probably very low. If we're being serious, some of the men who probably were considering, who were consuming this, and some of the people involved in it, dramatic-wise, they basically are fucking normies. They're normies. They don't actually fully understand the concept at play here. And they're gonna behave and speak on things in a certain way where it's very inconsistent on, you know, basic concepts that people can get into would be something of a turnoff. Quoting Tom himself, he says, I would be uncomfortable with being called that because I'm me. So let's say he definitely is very consistently taken aback and thus disinterested and embarrassed when someone hits him with the daddy shit. Hitting it from raw, hitting it with protection. He very clearly likes sex, but he does not do the fetish shit. That's a normal thing that anybody would be able to cover and get into. I feel like that part should be made very explicit based on the nature of anything else you could possibly get into.
I accept that it's something people are gonna see is a little bit strange. All I can really do at this point is accept that it's something that I've done, and I think that Rowan should accept it about herself too, given that she also called me daddy during sex and over text repeatedly. In the same vein as this accusation, Rowan stated, one more thing to add I thought was odd. I never really expressed any interest in Hello Kitty or that type of e-girl stuff, but I had like one Hello Kitty figure in my car. As a gift, Tom bought me Hello Kitty pajamas and a bunch of Hello Kitty stuff. So Rowan essentially wants you to believe that I'm pushing Hello Kitty onto her as if I have some kind of weird fascination with it. But the truth is that I am a 23-year-old man, and I don't give a fuck about Hello Kitty, okay? The only reason I bought her anything Hello Kitty themed at all, which was once by the way, was because she frequently expressed interest in it. Here she is sending me a photo with a Hello Kitty figurine next to her printer. Here she is sending a photo with a hand-drawn and colored Hello Kitty image on her wall. Yeah, she made these herself. Here, in regards to her decorating my room, she says, no Hello Kitty with a frowny face, and I say, correct. And something interesting about these texts is that she shows that she has a poster of the movie Lolita on her wall.
So, so the biggest accuser basically is into the concept of DDGL, or excuse me, DDLG. It appears to be that's the only fetish she never talked about during the relationship, which I find is very interesting. I find that to be very interesting. In terms of all the shit that would be relative, I find that to be very fucking interesting. Very, very fucking interesting. If you're willing to come forward with wanting to basically be brutalized during sex like a self-flagellant submissive, why wouldn't you tell him that you get turned on when he chooses to act like a daddy dom? I don't think anybody's asked that question. I think that question is really, 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 really fucking important. Because that reveals the reason why the girls chose to come forward the way that they did. They came forward the way that they did because they did not want to talk about the reality of what was going on with these with the sexual allegations here, and they just simply wanted the allegations themselves existing to possibly stop him from being able to speak on issues and speak on problems. It's very lazy. It's very, very lazy, I think. So, like, as I go here, something I can bring up real quick to compare alongside this. Boop. You've got people on Twitter possibly trying to make this into a stance war where the position is changing ever constantly. For example, this poster reads, Tom and his personal friends' lives have been leaked and lied about for the sole purpose of career destruction and embarrassment, and people want to cry about doxing. Amal, unserious people. Solid take. This person comes back and says two things can be wrong at the same time, question mark. You can dispel false allegations, as Tom's does, and criticize Brandon Buckingham, sharing Sacramento's full LinkedIn, and criticize Sacramento for seemingly being open and looking to posting Diorio's VidCon name and dox information on KF. Then showing an image that I'm going to open in a new tab of this particular DM coming from one of these women from the platform. The response in question saying, quote, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been going gorilla mode on Tom since I had hard proof that he was cheating on me and his friends were clearly all complicit in his degenerate freak behavior, so at this point, I don't care. Sorry, Josh, I know you're probably mad at me now. The entire board reacting in various different ways of like hearts and tea and blah, 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 from a post that comes from someone called Gatorades that says, while I'm not going to hit the gas on the blood list here, I think it's very fair to make clear, by giving this the girl's name, you're likely to destroy any goodwill Nick had for Tom, and by extension anyone loyal to Nick, and significantly impact Fatboy. Do this only if you're certain. I find it funny as hell. TurkeyTom does not redeem. He does not redeem, apparently. to the timeline of the shit that's currently happening on Kiwi Farms, as I'm not sure he has changed it in such a way where you can be able to view the board without being logged into your account. Oh, there is. We even have a post for my side. Also, apparently TurkeyTom did indeed sleep with the dog girl. I'm not quite sure who dog girl is. But on top of sleeping with dog girl, and having posted his side of the information, and all this other shit you can see here, with Chud Logic having a lot of fun in the chat room while trying to discuss things, he posts this, and later on in the text thread, should be page 506. Yeah, it's on this page. On the behavior of the page, as it is existing here now, it has actually become a situation where members that are interacting on TurkeyTom's board are calling out the fact that Null is acting like a jackass and is not accepting the full reality of the problem. And there are very many people that, while also trying to call posters that say this autistic, that they're basically holding them an account, following to Null directly. Don't try burying your head in copes and rationalizing away the embarrassment. Own up to it. You decided to throw in with Rowan and castigate Tom without question, and you ate shit for it. The same way you did with Channing Krieger before her, the same way you ever will again the next time some E-celeb's jilted ex decides she wants to destroy him. You need to stop idolizing women and start accepting that they're deeply flawed, now more than ever. You keep spewing this delusion that women can't be paraphilic, they can't be gooners, and whenever paraphilic behaviors happen, it's men's fault. But Rowan is a textbook example proving that this isn't the case. Now we have combos from both sides. It's clear that it wasn't Tom that had the rape fetish. Rowan had a rape fetish and did everything she could to force him to play along. He didn't record them fucking because he needed good material. He did it because she demanded it from him. And then in general, it's a good thing. Kiwi Farms cannot be held accountable for stupid little posts made here. Say what you want. It's far better than the alternative. No. The discontent with Kiwi tubers is completely valid. Kiwi Farms is an evil, untrustworthy site, so I'll avoid ever mentioning it for fear that people will find it and read its contents. Sure, this is a cringe and objectively bad take, but at least is internally consistent. But the Kiwi tubers go, it's an evil and untrustworthy site, so I'll ever avoid mentioning it for fear that people will find it and read its contents, but I will then also use those evil and untrustworthy contents as the main or only source for my content and videos. It is internally inconsistent and also shows deception to their audiences, thus deserving the shit that they're getting for it when they choose to use Kiwi Farms as a source for their content and citation for the content, while then demonstrating they are unwilling to take the consequences that come from making a take that could have been made by waiting on it. Then, if you discussed it with Tom, likely having age played with Ellie, why do you ask if Tom has seen the movie Lolita, and why were you okay with your friend having a Lolita poster? Is there something about you and Tom you're not telling us? I agree with this post too much to merely like it. I want answers, Sacramento. You clearly don't have a problem with pedo shit, so what is your contention with him age playing with Ellie or Kai? Do you have some involvement that involves stuff with Tom that has graciously admitted from his response? Have you and him been age playing? Because going off what we know so far, I'm theorizing the age play, aka the victim in your rape fantasies being a child, is a part of your rape fetish, and the only reason you're upset about Ellie is that Tom partook in part of your favorite fetish with someone other than yourself. And then somebody else saying, gamers, why are women so faulty? This is why TurkeyTom was warranted beating that bitch. Otherwise, she would have done some weird-ass cosplay as a British Victorian chimney sweeper child and get stuck in his chimney and die. The truth is, women not designed to act completely as autonomous enemies, but rather as two parts of a whole, complementary mindsets, and if one is isolated from the other too long, dysfunction rapidly takes hold. Men are designed to be stronger than women specifically, because women often come up with bad and self-destructive ideas, and if not, a man urging the reason with the back of his hand will act on said ideas. Factually outlawed, doing so is why many countries are rife with dysfunction, even when men and women join together. I completely disavow this last statement here, but everything else said at this point, the points said to Null, the points said in response to Willem III, the points said in response to Powerhouse of the Cell, all of this is consistent with the reality of what details are now turning on people and what's coming to light as people have internal conversations, as well as, if I can fucking find the page that it lives on, a particular individual demonstrating on behalf of the platform that they are using the platform to antagonize the content creator. I'm trying to see if I can find it real quick within 5 clicks. If I can't find it, we're just going to get back to the content. I cannot find the page that it's on. Let me see if I can find it on my timeline. If I cannot find it on my timeline, we're getting back to the content. Is it in my bookmarks? I don't think it's in my bookmarks. It is not in my bookmarks. Not in the bookmarks, not in the media feed. Scrolling a little, scrolling a little, scrolling a little. I should have had it somewhere. Did I post it to the server? Is that what I did? Is it in the original TurkeyTom response section? No. Was it on the original TurkeyTom update? No. Ooh. Just looking. Okay. So from whenever this post came from Copenceived YT, I do have here a post from Copenceived YT, which is showing Sacramento from whenever this time period was posted at post 9,882. This is them outright admitting, yeah, I overblew some shit. Like I said, I gave into it, and I told them I liked it. Should have been 100% more about that. While I will say I didn't lie about Brandon doing whippets, Katie brought it up, and those texts were real, hence why he doxed me, and yeah, our response is coming at this point. It's all out there. So, whatever Ralph Maine, Ralph Mail is ugly as fuck, whoever the fuck he is. There should be another post that shows the response that I'm talking about, as I did in fact get it from the timeline in order to speak on it. I appear to be struggling to find it. I found all the other posts that are referring to the forum page, but it's not showing the actual response in question that I'm looking for. No, I do not see it there. So, wherever it is, it's out there in the existence. Go through the thread if you want to. Going to look for it. We're going to get back to the content now. But basically, quintessentially, at the time that they really picked up on the fact that there was mean-spirited and in the intention of revenge rather than accountability, that it was the case that they then made sure to clearly point out that actually they're not posting anonymously. They're not posting They're not posting anonymously, but they are posting with the intention to antagonize. Yes, the Ralph male is in fact Ethan Ralph of the Ralph Retort. One of the many prolific lolcows from the sector. Okay, back to video.
I wonder what the movie Lolita could possibly be about. This film is about a middle-aged professor who is sexually attracted to adolescent girls he calls nymphettes. He rents a room in the house of a young widow to get closer to her 14-year-old daughter, Dolores Hayes Lowe, whom he calls Lolita. Obsessed with the girl, he eventually gains control over her after he takes her cross-country with him. Rowan even says that I should watch this movie, to which I replied that I feel like it's a movie adult men aren't supposed to see. In this next screenshot, Rowan asks me, if I start dressing like a weird Hello Kitty e-girl, would you still fuck with me? And I replied, no, I don't want you to do that. I find it kind of repulsive. Here, Rowan is texting me upset that she has to take down all of the Hello Kitties from her dorm room. And this next one's probably the strangest reference to Hello Kitty out of all of them. Here, she's sending me a video that says, get you a man that takes you to the Hello Kitty hotel. And under it, she writes, imagine the rape here. And I say, I will not imagine. Now, with some of the more insane projections and lies out of the way, I'd like to get into some strange details that Rowan also decided to lie about for whatever reason she may have. One thing that a lot of people pointed out that's strange is that Rowan had taken a photo of us matching on Tinder before we met in person.
Yeah, I took a picture of the match because I could kind of tell there was like something weird about this guy. Like I didn't know if he was famous or whatever. And also I did that to other people as well on Tinder.
Just like everybody you matched with, like gossip with, like girlfriends.
Yeah, like a couple of them. But yeah, he seemed like kind of weird. So I took pictures of our match.
She's also stated repeatedly that she's not a very online person multiple times throughout her testimony. But the wild thing about this is, Rowan sent me a message on my YouTube Connect Instagram all the way back on February 21st of 2024, 15 months before matching me on Tinder, where she said, you have to do a video on this crazy guy on Twitter who only has like 3,000 followers, but this man is a menace. I even confronted her about this when we first hung out because I found it very strange that she lied to my face when she first met me and said she didn't know who I was. I said, hey, I looked at our messages on Instagram and saw you DM me over a year ago. Rowan said, oops, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't want to tell you, but I watched one of your vids a while ago and thought you were cute, but I thought it would be awkward. I responded, that's okay, I was just surprised. She replied, I know I probably look crazy. I said, I mean a little bit, it's okay, I just wish you told me, that's all. She answered, I didn't want to because I thought it would be weird. I'm sorry. Kind of lied about some stuff. I was like a niche internet micro celebrity on Twitter for a little bit too. I'm chronically online and didn't want to admit it. Well, I've gotten better about it. Once again.
Well, we knew that. Also, I took it off the screen. Putting it back on the screen now. So, yeah, we knew that shit. We already knew that you were a bit of a online person. That was very, 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 very fucking obvious. Fuck. I have something that I'm getting from my home office call that I need to work on very soon. But I'll have to address that when the stream's done. Although we are close to being finished here.
And this is just another detail that it doesn't even make sense to publicly lie about, but it's just one of those things that makes me question her intentions throughout the entire relationship looking back. Publicly, she's also misrepresented the end of our relationship. In the interview, it stated that our breakup took place in December, and that after that, she realized how bad it was, and she felt the need to contact Katie, who we're going to get into later. This is blatantly untrue. We broke up on January 10th of this year, 2026, and she began posting about me on January 14th, literally days later. She says the breakup was kind of mutual, an idea that is just bitterly ironic because that's not the case. Immediately after I told Rowan that I wanted to break up with her, she began threatening to post about me online, and even began attempting to blackmail me into having sex with her again. I don't know what you want me to say to you. I just want to move on from our relationship and have you go be in your corner. You can meet other guys, and it'll be fine. I'll go meet other girls. We'll just break up.
No, you won't, because I'm going to make it hard for you to ever be in a relationship.
Why?
Because you don't deserve one.
Why?
Because you're a piece of shit.
Why?
Because our whole relationship, you act like everything is all about you the whole time.
Okay.
You don't give a fuck. You're just an awful guy, and I'm so sorry that your mom raised you. She seemed like a nice lady, but clearly she did something very wrong.
Mal, this is a normal thing to say to somebody who you've basically asked to put your body through the fucking ringer.
Okay, Rowan, I just want to move on and have my life, and you'll move on and have your life. And we can be in our own corners. We don't have to do damage to each other. We don't have to cause each other any more anguish, okay?
I just want to see you again, though. Like, do you think we'll ever be able to see each other?
After the way these conversations have gone today, I really don't think so.
Why?
You say he's a horrible person. You say that his mother did a bad job raising and rearing him. And you're like, but can we see each other again, though? Can we see each other again, though? The audacity. The fucking audacity. That's some shit that would drive me up a fucking wall. %100% would drive me up a fucking wall. What do you mean? What do you mean? Even if I don't like my mother that much, even if I don't like whatever family member you're bashing that much, you basically say I'm a horrible person and that you'll never want to see me again? There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way in existence. None. lose my number at that point. Fuck all that. $100%.
Because you're like threatening to blackmail me.
I'm not. Well, if you don't come see me, then I will.
I stated blatantly that I did not want to have sex with her. I didn't want to be with her anymore. I just wanted out of the room.
And it's at the back end of that comment. Well, if you don't come see me, then I will blackmail you. But I'm not trying to blackmail you right now. Kappa.
This is something she was completely unwilling to accept, and that's why after I stopped talking to her, she proceeded to call me over 30 times and texted me 80 times with no response. She is publicly claiming to be a victim of sexual abuse while begging me to fuck her again.
Like you've done all this like weird shit. Like I don't like it. Like you're so weird. You treat me badly, especially during sex. And like over the phone, I just listed everything that he had done wrong. He was like, well, you can leave me if you want. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna leave you. That's basically what happened.
But there's no like specific like. Did you guys talk at all between breaking up and then?
Tom and I.
Yeah.
I don't believe so because I blocked him.
Even this detail is also so.
Blatant lies that would have been easy. Don't know why we disconnected there for a hot second. But things that you could have easily been able to avoid, Null, if you just waited for evidence and then also were able to inform, trust, but verify. By claiming, here's the allegations, but I'm not going to claim as though this must be true because women are infallible. To the point where your own site users are rebelling against you.
Insane. While it is true that once she started to lose her mind, I did stop talking to her, she continued speaking at me, alternating between begging me to forgive her for breaking up with her, saying she wanted to have sex with me again, and sending me psychotic text messages filled with lies that she came up with once I dumped her. Now, with Rowan dealt with, the next person I'd like to address is Clorox Katie. Katie's a girl I had a brief sexual relationship with 2 years ago, and she began posting about the
Clorox
same day.
Katie.
Now, back when we were hanging out, she flew all the way from
That's a crazy name.
California to Maine to hang out with me twice. In the interview, she describes her time with me as the worst experience of her life.
And then you fly back. And how did that go? How long did you
Horrible. That was the worst experience of my life, I think.
And she also took to the forum to make some posts about me. Yes, Tom is extremely harsh during sex. I've been down the kink roads in my life, and how he acts is actually just evil and almost sadistic. Not even kinked up, just actually a Patrick Bateman type gooner. When asked how things between us ended, here's what she had to say. I just truly thought he was a cringe who definitely was going to beat me later if I stayed around. We only had a 2-month fling, but even my insane ass was scared of how he acted, and he was also just stupid. I hated conversation with him. He was just extremely weird to me and also evil as fuck during sex. Naturally, people asked her why she hadn't reported me to the police, and her response was, I thought about the police and looked into it, but again, it being across my own state lines in Maine, it would have had to been filed there, and I live on the opposite side of the country, so it just didn't seem feasible. These claims are once again so absurd to me that the best way to dispel them is to just look through our messages together. In these 2 DMs, you see that Katie comes to visit me for the first time on January 20th and leaves on January 23rd. She comes to visit me, she says she's excited, she then goes home, and after leaving my house the first time, she immediately texted me saying, I had so much fun, Tom, you can kidnap me whenever. I feel so alone in my bed. She then says that she has to come back. Now, days after coming the first time, she sends me nudes. Once again, this is kind of a weird thing to send to somebody that you're claiming is recording sex with you without your consent. Why would you send this person nudes? She then sends me nudes a second time, says she needs it, says so starved, so deprived, and she says that she misses me so much. I say, let's hang out in March. She says I'm down, but waiting until March will be so hard. On February 1st, Katie says that she misses me. On February 2nd, she slides up on my story and says she is counting down the days until she can see me again. She then says that she needs to see me ASAP, and she misses all the things about me. On February 4th, she says she wishes that she woke up cuddling me. On February 8th, she says she wants to have sex with me again. Once again, this is after the first time we hung out. February 18th, she says she's going to swallow me, and she then sends me naked photos of herself willingly. Keep in mind, once again, she's accusing me of recording sex with her without her consent, and then she keeps sending me naked photos of herself. She even sent me a video, by the way. She says, I need you right now. I need you ASAP. February 22nd, February 24th, we have I miss you, and are you home yet? February
Not even right now. Right now. Oh my lord.
28th, she slides up on my story and says, I'm gonna suck you so good. She then says, I need to see you now more than ever. Lots of hugs and hot sex. On March 2nd, she says, I like you lots, and I reciprocate. She says she can't wait to see me again. She then says that she's excited to see me that coming Saturday. In the next screenshot, I say, your pussy's gonna be so sore. And Katie responds with, good thing we had to wait a while, because then I can take a beating. She then says, I'm ready for you to throw me around. Now, when we were discussing how many days she would want to stay, she says, as long as you want, and that we'll have so much sex and party so hard. And she then once again expresses how excited she is. On March 7th, she sends me a barrage of unsolicited sexual photos, including her with BDSM leather on her butt. On March 8th, she says all she can think about is me, and she can't wait for my dick to be down her throat. And on March 10th at 7 in the morning, which is 4 a.m. her time, she says that she is so excited to see me that she cannot.
How do you keep finding women that all have BPD tendencies? I think that's the more important thing here, Turkey. If there's something that's very clear here, you are clearly asking for people that basically should be not in your interest. That's deeply concerning. That's deeply concerning. How do you keep finding BPD women? Why do you keep getting into relationships with BPD women? Is it that you have an addiction to the BPD while they have an addiction to your BWC? It might be the case that you might have an addiction to women who are bad for you. Stop it. Get help.
not sleep. Now, with the Instagram messages out of the way, we can move on to the text messages. So on March 10th, this is the second visit, right? Prior to getting there, she says that she's starving for me. Now, March 15th, this is when she leaves. She says, I still have her toothbrush, but that I have to let her come back. Now, keep in mind, Katie, in her own words, said that the second time visiting me was the worst experience of her entire life.
Horrible. That was the worst experience of my life, I think.
She basically describes being physically abused in the interview. She even says that while we were having sex, she would ask me to stop doing something, and I wouldn't. But that did not happen. You may also recall her stating she ended things with me because I was such an insufferable person to be around. She claims that after the second trip, she began to realize she was a victim.
Yeah, and that's kind of like when things really started piecing together to me that I was like, wait, I think I am a victim right now. Like, something's not right here.
In her words, this is why she stopped talking to me. She says that she was scared of me. She said she was scared that I would beat her. Well, on March 20th, which is after the second visit, she texts me saying, Tom, I really like spending time with you, but I'm kind of worried about if you actually like me or just using me. Lol, I'm just BPDing, and so I'm tweaking and need reassurance. Are you just having fun with me or do we have something? To which I respond, well, I like you and I think you're cool.
She even responds herself that she's BPD. Somebody gotta help these cluster B women. I can't touch them. I have a woman already. So it can't be me who fixes them. Oh no, Senpo, he loves bitches like this.
And perhaps we even have something. However, I would make a bad boyfriend, so I don't really want to date anyone officially, I guess. Yeah. I was abundantly clear with my intentions with her. I did not want anything serious at that time. But apparently, this is the period she began to realize the true extent of my abuse, which is probably why after we had already hung out the second time, Katie tries to arrange a third meeting with me, saying she wishes that she was in Ohio, where I was at the time, and I did not reciprocate. After this proposition, she slid up on my Instagram story 12 times over the next 10 months, and I did not slide up on her story once, not a single time. So ask yourself, do these texts sound like a girl texting a guy that she finds evil and sadistic, a guy that she was even debating going to the police about? Because to me, it seems crystal clear that she enjoyed our time together and even wanted to hang out a third time. You gotta keep in mind here, she flew across the entire North American continent twice, from California to Maine to see me. After the second time, she wanted me to be her boyfriend. I didn't want to, and she then repeatedly made efforts to contact me and hang out with me again. Now, to close out the video, I think I'd like to share some interesting texts that Rowan sent me about her dear friend Katie, as they're both accusing me of, I mean, whatever it is they're even trying to say at this point. After she saw that I was following Katie on Instagram, she messaged me on December 8th saying, did you know Clorox Katie tried to fuck Jet Neptune? Those girls too make themselves easy targets with hair and piercings because they have sexual trauma. She then says, they complain about sexual assault a lot because they will fuck anything that breathes. 1 month and 2 days later, I broke up with Rowan, and in the middle of her unhinged tirade about me, she told me that she would be messaging as many girls I had been with as possible to try and find whatever dirt she could so that she could run to the internet about it. Now, I've seen a lot of people say things to the effect of, Tom's a hypocrite, he gooned. And you're right, I did goon, okay? I did not stop gooning. So maybe in the end, the hats are more relevant than ever. Anyway, that's about it. I've said everything I need to. Goodbye.
So, quick, clean, dirty. I did not aggress this woman. She asked for it, not me. Da 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 da. Seems pretty cut, clear, and dry. 100% clearing. Because, unfortunately, the girls came out and admitted, in fact, that they wanted to hurt him. And in their intention and their confusion on attempting to hurt him, they just sparred with each other, trying to be the bigger victims. I still can't find the particular thing in question that I'm looking for. However, as we go through some of these, let's pull this off to the side. We can see here as I move backwards on the page, a lot of this material becomes very clear that the majority of people against them, they effectively begin to realize that actually it rings hollow when 95% of people first believed them with literally no proof. Nobody was ever saying Tom wasn't retarded, but plenty of people were saying that the women weren't lying. It wasn't no proof. It was cropped pictures of conversations leaving out her thirst. It was the night rape voice recording. It was Noel's word against facial, regarding facial bruising and the grabbing of Sacramento's face mixed in more dirt on the age player. All Tom had for Ellie was a single text line that said we did not engage in age play, even though Ellie's persona and a major point of contention in her previous relationship with messages from her ex-boyfriend to back it up, as well as Tom ex-Kai's new boyfriend also mentioned Kai was into age play only to back down and say, nah, it was a joke. And then Dog Girl. Because of the inclusion of Dog Girl and that Tom slept with her, and Ellie was able to get the excitement of people flowing, it made everything else easier to swallow like a slow boil. For most of us, it was never about rape, but him being a freak and the sexual violence being an aspect, but not the only thing. Ellie and Dog Girls were the Costco free samples to sucker us into the whole story. They were the Costco free samples to sucker us into the whole story. Multiple people referring to the fact that you need to stop letting somebody be too damn fucking sweet. Stop thinking a high-pitched voice is a victim that you can save. The text messages on her end, I wouldn't do a legitimate long-term relationship at a way older of an age. She's porn sick, doesn't even like sex. That's why she never talked about anything she truly loved or wanted. She was just taught to comply with 6 males to acquire material shit, but she heard from her female friends to stay away and that it's not worth it. She just thought that it was easier than real work. Multiple times throughout the thread and the backwards of the thread, from page 557, where we're looking at posts that go into the 11,121. Probably got to move even further back into the 400s, if not the lower 500s. You can see very consistently that everyone is like, yes, actually, this is a nothing burger. 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 You got duped. This is a nothing burger. This is a nothing burger. This is a nothing burger. You got duped. This is a nothing burger. Because many of them are saying that they're on the fence and they don't believe the things that are happening. In fact, here on the next page, backwards, what should be page 556, you would expect that someone who had been dealing with lolcows for over 13 years would be a little more skeptical about accusations like this. A couple of minutes into the conversation, it was very obvious that she was lying through her teeth with the whole, I'm not really an internet person, tee-hee. And Josh is now acting like it was a neutral interview who didn't do nothing, when in reality he was shitting on everyone who didn't believe them. Here's the receipts starting at 38.30. Not good for you, is it, my good sir? Two things about Rowan's story that never made sense. One that you pointed out, playing dumb about the internet. Zoomers were basically born with screens grafted to them. What 20-year-old girl doesn't know about the internet and social media accounts? An Amish one, maybe? And even they have phones, even just usually flip phones. The second was a screenshot of the match on Tinder. If you're trying to remember details about someone and keep a record in case is the Nate rapist, what good does the match screen do? Has no information about them. You either screenshot the profile or more likely your chats with them. Reminds you who they are and would have details about any dates so that your friends would know where you are. We also found out that Rowan goes to Baylor, a school with a pretty extensive D1 athletics program. We're supposed to believe that in a dating pool of college athletes and flat boy gym bros, she thought that Tom was especially handsome or muscular. Even when she was saying what an attractive girl she is, her standards couldn't possibly be that low. She clearly knew who he was. That should have been enough to discredit everything else, honestly. And then Nick is going at it on Twitter today. I'm not a fan of him, but he seems to be getting blowback on the way that he handled the Tom stuff. I initially listened to some of the coverage last night, and as soon as he said that he was in contact with Tom the whole time, I turned it off. He lied for weeks to his audience and is now attacking others because he was privy to knowledge that others didn't. I assume there was a plan and that he does it his part. I never really watched him, but from last night's stream, I saw that he docked Sacramento after Brandon did, as he was talking with Tom the whole time, with everybody involved in this being scum. Here is the clip last night that you're talking about. And this is the clip in question that I was trying to pull up from the timeline, but fortunately, the Spurgs on Kiwi Farms did my work for me. Thank you, Spurgs on Kiwi Farms. As here's the clip.
There was also some weird narrative thing that, I don't know, maybe Tommy said this and he was misinformed, that Tom wasn't reaching out to anybody or talking to anybody. That's just not the case. I was in contact with Tom for the vast majority of this, actually. I don't know, I didn't feel like the need to step out and go, no, Tom is talking to me. No, Tom is talking to me. Because a lot of people were already coming, like jumping down my neck, asking me question after question about the whole situation, and I didn't really want to attract any more of that because I was already getting a ton of it. But yeah, so that's kind of the shtick here.
That's a clip that goes on much longer and goes on to explain the points about Tommy being Tommy C, and obviously Chud Logic, who was mentioned before as well. Kiwi Farmers claim that he lied about it, when really he just didn't answer. He did not knowingly lie about content. He just simply remained quiet and held his cards to his chest, as he was not playing a game of chess and checkers. He was just simply witnessing who was choosing to come forward about the content and who was playing the situation for material. For people like Chud Logic, he was very much playing this as content. For people like Nicholas Diorio, he has skin in the game as he is friends with Tom. And it was not a personal ask made of him by TurkeyTom, but instead him just being an intelligent fucking interviewer. Tact, decorum, process. There are multiple people who come forward, like here, Goonbase Alpha. I don't know how to print to PDF right now. I'm going through and retorting a ton of videos of our texts with nudes. Just this. Post this. You've already proven to be and admitted to being a stupidest trick who loves to lie when it's convenient, so cut the bullshit and give us the only thing you're worth. The only thing of worth you have to offer to anyone. The fact that you're a complete butterface isn't even that real a big deal. You can either blow the shit out or wear a plastic paper bag over your head. Go on, sweetheart. Earn that e-fame you want so bad. This attitude had from this user, Goonbase Alpha, and other such people, is pretty much the general opinion you're going to get from the farms. We don't care, show us the content. We don't care, show us the content. We don't care, show us the content. You're not giving us the content that we asked for when you came to us asking for a personal army request. So, clearly, you're fucking lying to us. We can tell that you're lying to us. We're smart enough to realize this. Null might probably not be, or definitely is not. My opinion is that Null is doing whatever gives people traffic on his website because he's a business owner and he's trying to make business off of the business of having created a place where basically his viewpoint becomes sacrosanct about the world. And clearly that's not working out for him very well. But the generalized convenience of the opinion is that pretty much we know that you guys are being disingenuous and being dishonest. You're not giving us the information that you claim is very obvious and exists, so it's very clear that you're lying. So why don't you do your fucking job and you just tell the fucking truth? And you just tell the fucking truth. With clips unironically coming from some users saying things like, I told you that bitch was a fucking diesel. I told you that bitch was a fucking diesel. Because they're randomly quoting Bullet Train and other such pop culture shit. Lots and lots of people on this page effectively are demonstrating that, yeah, we got tricked, we got duped, we fell for it because we let these e-girls use us. It's also another part where people will say things such as this, quote, it confirms the commentary gay cabal thing. It's grimy knowing these losers are in Discord chats with one another talking about how to handle the optics and the PR. It's so fucking gay and incestuous. They all got their marching orders. Augie is defensive sweeping. Nick is the worm tug of tongue. And Buckingham is doing the shit on the doxing. I think it's much more obvious that when people come demanding content from someone, that they not be audience captured. I disagree with this particular take. I think, based on what we've been given, and based on the drama that has happened for so fucking long, this particular evolution, using the antagonism from people like Butt Pouncer, this specific vision here, this opinion here, this is the opinion you have when you are not willing to tell the truth about the reality of the problem. And you are more angry that you're not getting the particular reaction that you want out of the person. Because this is anti-audience capture. Nick could do all that and have optics, or he could just simply wait until more evidence is given. Certainly, the problem you have here is that, oh, he's actually doing the gay cabal thing. He's not speaking up when he should be speaking up. Actually, he doesn't have to do shit. None of us have to do anything. I can wait for more information. He can wait for more information while still talking to him in the background. Maybe what you want is that you want to know what they're talking about in the DMs where they're supposedly doing the gay cabal optics. I don't fucking know. But this accusation is very schizophrenic. It's very schizo. Because it belies that he's basically a part of the narrative. Oh, he's holding out, waiting for Tom to put together information. He's going to roll it out once he gets receipts to it. How about he just waits until the evidence comes out? That's like saying, I'm in DMs all the time with people like Jay, and they collaborate to be able to do the most officiously stupid shit on Twitter. People wouldn't do that. People don't roll the ball out the way people think that they do. They really don't. Or, Carl would say, open your mouth, it's time for a coffee sandwich. Like, the problem here at the end of the day, okay, the thing that I want very clearly communicated here, everything is preceded by the girls coming forward and everybody using the gossip mill to spread the accusations around. If he's being antagonized in a way where he needs to see all of the material that he's being accused of, his job is to wait. TurkeyTom's job is to wait, let them play their hand, and then counter-narrative. Because it's just a narrative. It's not proof. Oh, they lied about information and documentation? Here's the full context. Oh, they lied about what we were doing and what they said, and they said that I had this kink? Nope, here's the proof that says that it's you. Oh, it's you saying that I pushed you into it? Nope. Document, 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 document. It's much more likely that I'm going to wait to let you fuck up than me immediately rush to defend myself. You don't even have to quote the 40 rules of power. You don't even have to quote Machiavelli. If I respond, clearly I'm acting in fear of something. If I wait, I hold my cards, and I refer and I beat down the allegations as they are accusatory of me. I bring the whole details. I bring the whole document, even at risk of embarrassment to myself. What's more likely? I must be in a cabal, or I just collected my evidence like I don't live in a court of public opinion. Because clearly, this is just court of public opinion shit. If this was a legal case, which it isn't, because these girls went to a drama forum to get attention for e-fame, because they knew who TurkeyTom was and wanted to use his fame for attention, I would let you incriminate yourself and then prove the case with my evidence during both discovery and my chest. Word. And cross-examination. So very much here, multiple users have already eaten the cock meat sandwich because they allowed themselves to get manipulated by BPD. Claiming that Noel is innocent is retarded because he should know better. But I digress. Also, another post on the same page. This user here explains that the thread itself is a chain wreck. Kiwi Farms doesn't own the the glorious IP rights of anonymous confessions and online sleuthing. The general frustration with the site that cannot be named, but slathering a giant Kiwi logo over your interview with BPD doesn't change people's minds. I get upset being upset slop tubers reading the site verbatim for slop videos and normal goy audiences, but maybe there's some added value for the simple reason that they have to do a little editorializing to craft a narrative out of disjointed data points. But in general, this is a good thing. Kiwi Farms cannot be held accountable for stupid little posts made here, and you can say whatever you want. It's far better than the alternative. I remember in the interview, Noel at one point mentions TurkeyTom bragging about mad stacks or something, and he just said this to establish rapport. Maybe. Well, he's kind of upset about it. Whatever the case, the interview doesn't have the same Section 230 protections as your website, Josh. All you had to do was wait. It would have been so fucking easy. Maybe we crossed into the Joshua Connor Moon lolcow timeline. Maybe he was genuinely upset when Tom flashed his YouTube stacks. YouTube stacks. Maybe he was genuinely mauled when the Sway teens started posting silly PVC edits of his magnificent person, the administrator of Kiwis Farms. I doubt that is the case, but if it is, he'd become the funniest lolcow yet, I'm sure. Multiple people saying that he's spurging, but generally agreeing with his take. Multiple other people keep responding and agreeing with the fact that people are retarded, specifically calling out the user named Rowan. There's a bunch of people claiming that the age play wasn't resolved because Nick was supposedly sleeping in general. Multiple users criticize on the fact that there are people claiming they cannot understand why the job is to archive instead of just leading up with accusations from the head. Moving backwards to 554. They're still going across from each other and attempting to claim that they don't understand how they should do whatever the fuck they're doing. In certain cases, when Sacramento 89 says, I don't know how to print a PDF, I'm going to and recording tons of videos of our text with nudes and blah, 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 because she only has 6 so far. Multiple users call her on the fact that she is feigning that they do not understand how to do this. quote, your act of feigning incompetence and innocence is tired. I'm not online is actually a self-described micro-celeb. I had no idea who Tom was, had DM'd him before even matching on Tinder. Tom was too rough in the bedroom, is actually a CNC fetishist who is inspired by a Lolita. You were in remedial and normie classes. It's your fault your education sucked. Pretty much the consensus here from the report of the video, as well as the proof being provided, and particular people speaking on which they're speaking on, especially considering people scomming over the actual skooma of the front page of Nicholas at the time at 6:43 p.m. Basically, this is what's being used as the sweep narrative. These tweets at this time period is what's being used in the sweep narrative about why the commentary community of those that didn't immediately make a video about it were supposedly sweeping. I can at least say that I, in fact, single player Carl, did not sweep. As I said, literally the first time I heard about it. And when people came to me asking for details, and I said, I know nothing about this, I have no opinion, I'm going to wait until there's a response. My take and my position, as almost always has been the case, unless it's something directly personal to me, with relation to me, I don't have an opinion until I've seen both sides of the story, so that I can be able to discern the truth in the middle. They clearly wanted to play the situation as something worse than it was. I think that's very clear. And this disambiguation between farmer users themselves. So, for what it fucking's worth, what is clearly on top of the problem here, what's very clearly important here, what's very, very obvious here, the girls misconstrued and lied and told tall tales about that big, white cock on TurkeyTom. They lied about the relationships. They lied about the relationships. Lied about the rape. Lied about being assaulted. Lied about their fetishes. Lied about abuse. Lied about mishandling. Lied about loughness. And painted a sexually selfish guy who's probably not used to giving reciprocal cunnilingus as an abusive, DDLG, fet, diddy-ass monster. When in truth, actually, one girl's just an outright fucking CNC fetishist who's been inspired by kinks. And the other girls, clout chasers. Embarrassing. It's so fucking embarrassing. And I don't say it because, oh man, where's the meat? Where's the sauce? No, this is fucking embarrassing. This is a repeat of the same shit we're tired of fucking seeing online. Carl, don't blow your voice out. Take a sip. Every single one of these 5+ alleged girls, ex-girlfriends, people who hung out with him and hooked up with him a couple of times, actual considerable exes of relationships, every single one of them did exactly what I said is the case of what ruins online content, circles and spaces. They, in fact, are the reason why this is a problem online. Go far as back as my debate. Go far as back as content in general. These girls and their desire to reach a narrative about a person for the purpose of life ruination and cancellation, to receive support, sympathy, money, attention, whatever, is what ruins the online space and what ruins online discourse. Because these girls, in their attempt to destroy TurkeyTom, ruined the space. Call it feminism in women if you want. I think it's more like untrustworthy people who want to use victim status so that people will glory seek for them on behalf of whatever interests them most. In the case of Kiwi Farms, They went to that board specifically hoping that the Kiwis would do the hard, heavy lifting for them. And for a time, they did. These allegations basically have been out there for, like, what? 3 months? 2 to 3 months? About? And now that they've been fully addressed with a video response, now we're discovering that, oh, it's not actually cut and dry. No, actually, they did lie. Actually, of the people who supposedly swept in the commentary community, it was people actually waiting for information. One of the closest people literally didn't say anything until somebody had something else to say. And even if he was in communication with people, they're not privy to making him respond. Actually, he didn't behave audience captured. Of those who did behave audience captured, people who have only ever cared about the drama and not about the actual reality of the fallout of the conversations and the constant permanent effects it will have on the ecosystem, oh, those people, the ones that are guilty are guilty. The ones that are innocent are innocent. And the people in the middle who only care about the drama, fuck them anyways. I'm so tired of seeing and hearing stories like this. Because there's nothing of value to gain. There's nothing of value to gain. Carl, does that mean you only care if you're able to make money off the drama? No. It's like the shit with Papa Gut. They want something to happen. So they try to make something happen. They get duplicitous about it. They get mean about it. They get selfish about it. They get very, very egotistical about it. And when they know they're wrong, they don't tell the truth. And then, when they have to either admit that they were wrong, or get outed for having lied, the damage is already done. Fortunately here, nothing bad actually happened. TurkeyTom smoking that good, sweet farm pack. Because there are no heroes. There are only opponents, antagonists, and villains. No one's innocent. Anyone who was involved in making the story happen, none of them are innocent. I hate to say it is what it is, but nigga, it is what it is. Yet again, another lesson. When we try to accuse people, following into the steps of, I'm Alex. You cannot just accuse people blindly without actual real evidence. If you don't come forward and give the full logs, we're going to demand the full logs. We're not going to just jump down someone's throat because a woman said she was abused. Or even a gay man saying he was abused. We want the full context, we want the full details, we want the full evidence. If you don't supply that evidence, shut your bitch ass up. Go to the fucking police. If they're abusing you, do not take this shit to the internet. Go to the fucking police. In a just world, there would be a law where these women see jail time for this. Money, fine, and jail time. And as a part of the sentencing for the guilty verdict, they must be banned off of social media for a period of time no shorter than 5 years. And by being banned off social media, I mean they are not allowed to post. If they post and it can be proven that they have posted on social media, jail. That way they can play their video games, they can do all the bullshit and do all that other fuck shit. But if they ever go onto social media and try to do shit like this with the intention of deceiving and telling lies, jail. That'll stop the shit in the bud, real quick. That law won't be passed because it doesn't benefit certain people and certain groups. But it is what it is. Boy, am I agitated. Also, that's the end of it. That's all I got. I need to do some business things, so I'll handle that in a second. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry that there was no yapping on Sunday and that I basically didn't broadcast Monday, but my business comes first. The payroll is now in set, and there are things that have to happen every day, otherwise I don't get my money. And I have to go do one of those things right now. So, tomorrow's Wednesday. We're going to be having movies. It's going to start earlier in the day. Movies as well as me reviewing content. Pass through, come through. If you support my content and you support my stream, tell your mom, tell your friends, tell your dad, tell your auntie, tell your grandma if she's able to do something crazy, you know, like If your grandma's able to do something weird and freaky, like she's able to do shit on her knees, like this, send your grandma to me, alright? But again, like the stream, support the content, join the Discord, become a member of the Negrohood, secure your key in the Negrohood, HOA, blah, 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 blah. And I will be seeing you all next time. Alright? Alright. I gotta take a wicked piss. Goodbye, everyone.